Can you hear me? How are you? I'm making sure that my volume is doing good. All right, let me.
Your volume is good and you are
There we
looking
go.
good.
All
Yep.
right.
Okay. Perfect. All right. Welcome to tonight's episode of Heart Talks and Self Love series. This is our third show. And listen, I'm going to jump right into it because, those 30 minutes go by so
I
quickly.
know.
I just want Mijiza, who is tonight's guest, Miss Mijiza Green. But first, let me just tell you guys, I always like to just let you guys know who I'm bringing before you, right? I don't just like randomly pick people. I make sure that I have individuals that are before you who can bring you valuable information. And one of the things I like about Mahisa, not only am I going to introduce you to her, but her brand as well is one of the things that she talks about is as a professional, and she's a trained, experienced life coach, but she gives you the tools and the understanding to help you create the life you imagine and then get a renewed sense of self. So
Yes.
that's what we're talking about tonight, right? Heart talks and self love.
Yes.
So that's one of the things that she's great at doing. And so that's why we're here tonight. So welcome to the series and the episode, Mahisa.
Thank you so much. I am so excited to be here. I'm telling you, to be able to talk about things that are so significant now, I am just so excited. Thank you so much for the invite.
Sure, absolutely. Look, your excitement is just as high as my excitement. So you guys know you're in for a great show, right? So, you know what? Let me just have you say what you do outside of what I just said to bring the
Mm.
self-love piece of it. Give me one or two things that you do with your business, which is the Wellness Purse, and I'm going to put your website up there, the Wellness Purse, what you do that helps women tap into their self-love.
I can say one of the biggest things I do, and right before this, I was on a call, which is a welcome call for my part two of my book, which is what goes on in my house stays in my house.
Mhm.
And oh, I see that.
Yes.
Yes, yes, yes. And so when I think about self love, one of the things that I do with the Wellness Purse, not only as a life coach, but I also coach women to tell their stories. And I believe that that's a part of self love. It's a part of releasing stress. It's a part of having heart health
Yeah.
by releasing those stories that have allowed us to not be the best version of ourselves. And so, in order to release, then we are able to reflect on our lives and
Mhm.
receive what God has for us. And that's a part of my self love. That's that one thing. My second thing would be that I do is to, except for writing it in a book, is
Mhm.
either to learn how to speak it out, build platforms, go back and find your dreams. Like, let's revisit those things. And all of that is a part of self love. But recently, I started talking about peace. That is self love.
Ooh. Now
Being
that,
able to
yeah,
take it
the
back.
combination of that. Listen, I'm on this journey. I think we're, especially when we're like learning ourselves when you're in a different season. So I'm on this of journey of really self-discovery of where I am at this season of my life. And so I've been really journaling about it more. And I had gotten away from journaling probably for a good 5, 6, maybe even 7 years. And I'm finding that there's some benefit to it. And when I got back into it is when I lost my mom, and I was
Mhm.
really struggling with the grief of that. And I found a lot of comfort in writing down what I was feeling, writing
Yeah.
down my emotions, and really just sitting with them and finding peace in it all. And so I never really sat still long enough. And now I do. I really find
Yes.
comfort in it. And I think, Mahisa, when we do that, we have to be vulnerable to
Mm.
everything's not going to be comfortable. And so that was one of the things that, and I'm still working through that. I'm not going to say
Yes.
that I'm good in that. Some things we can feel good about and we can relish in it and we can be happy about it. But it's those things that sometimes may crop up, awful feelings, bad feelings, things that we've run from in the past.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so I think that that too lends a lot to the whole heart thing, right? That can bring up some anxiety, some things that you may have buried. So speak to that a
Yes.
little bit.
Yeah, so when I look back at this book and the journey through it of what goes on in my house stays in my house, like you said, these things that we're holding on to. And so we holding on to things that we have already experienced. And
Hmm.
so because of the hurt and the shame and the guilt that comes with it, we have learned to suppress every feeling that we have. And if I can be brutally honest on your show as a guest, I
Yep.
want to say society has showed us, especially as African Americans, that as soon as we show our emotions, we become another person. We
Hmm.
become the angry black woman. We become the bitter black woman. And I have to be honest. So thank you for allowing me to be myself. And because of that, we've learned how to not show emotion. We learned how to just keep
Hmm.
on going, suppress, keep on going, suppress. But we're not talking about, oh, I slipped and fell. We're not
Right.
talking about, oh, I had a
Hmm.
bad hair day. We're talking about molestation. We're talking about
Yes.
domestic violence. We're talking about some real serious hurt. We're talking about grief. You talked about losing your mom. I lost
Hmm.
my dad to COVID.
Right.
And that's how I channeled my grief,
Hmm.
because that was the plan that God had for me. So just think about that. The way we carry this weight
Hmm.
on our shoulders,
Yes.
they become heavy. They
Hmm.
become heavy. And if anybody is anything like me, let me just tell you the wellness purse was created because I actually was sent to the hospital 3 times, Delana, thinking I was having a heart attack because my pocketbook was too
Hmm.
heavy.
Yep.
Sounds hilarious.
That. Yeah.
Literally pulled a muscle
Yep.
carrying
And
a
your
heavy
purse was
pocketbook.
heavy. Yes, I've seen that before.
And
Yes.
so
Hmm.
I'm thinking three
Hmm.
times that I'm like, what is going on?
Yes.
And I end up in the hospital to only found out that I pulled a muscle and I need to stop carrying the
Yep.
bag on my right hand side. And I
Yep.
started to think about the similarity, Delana, of what we do to ourselves.
Yeah.
All of this crap in our book bag, in our pocketbook, the only thing we pull out is our
Hmm.
wallet, maybe our
Yep.
sunglasses, and it's full of junk. Well, that's
Hmm.
what we do with our bodies, whether it's fitness and health, whether it's heart health, whether
Oh,
it's
that's
mental
good.
health.
Oh,
All
that's
we
good right
do
there.
is carry, 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 suppress,
Hmm.
suppress, suppress. And what you get is a mess, which
Hmm.
is not really what it is. And so that's where the wellness purse was created. It was created for us to stop doing what we do with our purses to our bodies and learn how to remove those negative
Exactly.
pieces in order to be the best
Mm.
version of ourselves. That's what you call heart health. When you are learning that who you are, the confidence in who you are, Delana, then you know who to protect. If you
Oh,
don't know who
yeah.
you are, then you don't know how to protect your peace. You don't know how to protect your time. You don't know how to protect your
Mm.
words if you're not sure who you are. And this did not happen overnight. It's still a work in progress, but I
Yeah.
am confident
Yeah.
of who I am. So I'm protecting every bit of my peace so that I can be heart healthy.
Exactly. Look, I'm right there with you. Listen. Make that heart. But like you said, it's a work in progress. And what I find, and I say this all the time, that there's work that goes into it. And so we have to be willing to do the work. And you have to be willing to do the work. Maybe along the way, like I said, uncover some things that may have been buried. Realize that you got to work on that before you get the results that you need, right?
Yes,
It's not going to just happen overnight, right?
it's not.
'Cause again, social media got us thinking we got the fake book and we got the,
Mm,
the Instagram, which
yep,
want instant results, right? Because we're scrolling, we do that whole thumb thing and think that we got the before and the after, and it happens like that, but it doesn't.
it
Somebody
doesn't.
commented, plus we've been taught to be strong, which is
Absolutely. And you know
so
what I said
true.
to that person who put that thank you, because normally
Mhm.
I always say being strong is no longer a compliment to me.
No.
What you're telling me when you tell me, "Oh, you're the strongest woman I know." I know you didn't mean to hurt me or you wasn't
Yeah.
intentionally trying to be disrespectful, but to
Hmm.
me I make it clear every time I say
Yeah.
it. Do not call me the strong woman because what you're telling me is I can carry everybody's burdens and leave mine to the side.
Right. Back to that purse again. Back to that purse. Listen,
I'm
big
serious.
time. Yeah. So we got to evaluate that. So the same way
Yes.
that Mahisa talked about us evaluating what's in our purse, we got to evaluate what we're shouldering. What are we carrying? What is leading us to feel, really bogged down, both emotionally and physically. And again, as I
Yes.
said, I'm on this journey really figuring it out. And I'm talking about other people's problems, relationships that are no longer serving you,
Yes,
that you're finding that in this season, right? It's just a matter of shifting. No one's saying, go through your friends list or go through your, your phone and start deleting folks. It's just shift how you accept them into your life,
I
shift
agree.
how you deal with them if they're not serving you in this season. And it doesn't have to be them, it can just be you and where you are. Maybe you're not in a place to add value to them. So I think that, again, when we're doing this, that we have to be open and we have to be vulnerable to what may be
Absolutely.
discovered when we're on this self discovery.
Absolutely. We've been talking about this a lot. I just did a podcast the other day, and, we were talking about the fact that we don't want to get to a place of being vulnerable. We don't really want to show our true
Hmm.
colors. And it's not for everybody. I'm
Yeah.
here to tell a story to
Hmm.
whoever's listening who's ready for change. It's
Yeah.
simple as that, because we can go on with the fake Facebook, and because reality is we show
Yep.
everything that's good. But you don't understand that I've
Yeah.
gained monetary wealth by showing the struggle, by showing
Mm.
that what you see today did
Yeah.
not happen overnight. And so when we start really showing that, oh, before I got to that BMW, I was driving
Hmm.
a Toyota that broke down. This is what I
Absolutely.
did to get there. But no, we want to keep showing all the glitter and the glam. And that's
Hmm.
when you get to that root of saying, I've been through some things
Yes.
by the
And be
grace
okay
of
with it,
God.
right?
Come
Be
on, be
okay with what they
okay.
see. Be okay with what they see. And I think, again, on this whole self discovery thing for me, this journey, I am understanding that and understanding the power in that, right? Because before it was, they have to see that I'm capable and that I'm able and that I'm credible, right? I have to show up so that they can see
I
that,
agree.
as a
I
healthcare
agree.
professional, and I'm telling people I'm well, they have to see. It's like I have to be that
Absolutely.
walking billboard, right? But
Absolutely.
I'm now seeing that outside of that, they can see that as well, but they also need to see the work that went into what
There
you
we
see
go.
before you today.
There
And
we
trust
go.
me when I tell you that it hasn't been easy. Somebody
And
says
it's
she
and it's
preaching.
not easy. And it's not
Yes.
easy.
Hmm.
But when you start to see the growth in you and how you feel when you can walk around with no weight on, because I'm no longer have to put on this persona. And for me, this didn't happen
Hmm.
overnight. It happened when I lost my dad and when I
Yeah.
realized that I had spent
Hmm.
90% of my life, even as a grown adult, trying to prove to the world that I was worthy of
Absolutely.
everything that I had because I
Yeah.
was the girl who gave birth at 13 years old.
Yes.
So that is who I lived with.
Yeah.
No matter how cute I looked, no
Yeah.
matter how good I looked, I still
Hmm.
walked around not feeling like I was worthy enough
Hmm.
because I'm still the girl who gave birth at 13. So I
Right.
kept working towards that. And the reality is, who
Hmm.
expectations were I on?
Yeah, yeah. That I was just getting ready to say the expectations are sometimes I do this thing of who do you think I am? Who do I think you think I am? And who am I really? Right?
I love it.
That's a loaded
Three,
three-part question. And that is the cycle that I have been living in, right? Is who do I think you think I am? Who do I think I am? And then who am I really? That's
yes,
huge. And so for the longest time, like you said, it's always wanting to live up to that, always wanting
yes,
to live up to, the girl who my family thought, was smart. You graduated this and you did that and you need to do this. And, everybody's like, oh, the expectation for you
yep,
is here and it's there. And it's like, but I don't even know what in the world I want because for the longest time, I'm trying to continue chasing the perception of what
yes,
Selena is supposed to be.
yes.
And honestly, when you think about that, how much of our energy are we expending on that, right? How many times have I probably had an anxiety attack, which kind
Hmm.
of shows up as palpitation, and anxiety and worry and just all of that. It's like a compound of my emotions that I've
Yes.
had to deal with. And oftentimes, Mahisa, suppressed because remember,
Oh,
I've
forget
got to
it.
show up, right? You can't see that I'm like worried about all this
I'm
and I'm
ready.
nervous and I'm just, wondering and trying to figure it out and I'm maneuvering. I can't show up like that because then
Yes.
I don't appear to be strong. I don't appear to
Yes.
have it all together. And so all of that does over time physically weigh on your heart. So what you're feeling
Absolutely.
mentally and emotionally does tend to weigh on your heart. Why? Because my heart is working twice as hard to be
Yes, it
girl,
is.
go somewhere. You're doing too much. Like, stop focusing on that. Stop
Yes.
thinking about that. So that's where all of those inward physical things that we see will manifest itself. on an
Yes.
outward physical way.
Oh gosh, you hitting it right now, because when I talk about, reflect, release, and receive, I always talk
Mhm.
about the
Mm.
imaging of a mirror, how the light has to turn, and how what's going on in the inside needs to match what's going on in the outside. And so I
Yeah.
always say you want to check yourself before somebody check you, because you
Oh,
looking good, but your
absolutely.
attitude sucks and it's absolutely nasty. And I would
Yeah.
much rather reflect in the mirror before somebody else come and check me. And so
Yeah.
that's why I say I'm so happy that you're talking about heart talk, because when you talk about it from your standpoint, we think about the medical stuff, but we don't understand
Mhm.
how much we're doing to ourselves mentally leads to
Absolutely.
everything, that deals with our heart, and it's like people have a heart attack because, they
Mhm.
didn't wake up. Yeah, we can talk about food. Yes, I am a certified fitness
Yeah.
trainer. We can talk about food and diet, but
Yeah.
what about the thing that has been generationally
Mhm.
cursed
Yep.
and
That neck up
carried on with
checkup,
us
right? Yeah, I
that
say
has
it every
allowed
time.
us
It's
to,
that neck up
yes,
checkup. What's
that's
going
a
on in here, right?
that's a
Look
whole
here,
nother
right
world.
here, from here to here. So it's the neck up checkup affecting
Mm,
down below, everything that happens
yes.
below. And so when you talk about, again, the whole physical heart piece of it, if you can just sit with, your clients and
Hmm.
really dig deep, right? And I always say, I don't want to scratch the surface. I want to go deep. I want to know what are you really struggling with? Because that will oftentimes lead me to why you're eating the way you're eating, why you're
Yes,
feeling the way you're feeling, why you don't have the energy to exercise, why you're not sleeping well. So we can belabor all of those things about getting
I
enough
love it.
sleep, getting quality sleep, eating
Yep.
right, moving. We all know them. A 5-year-old can regurgitate those things to me
Absolutely.
if they've been taught and if they've heard it before. So it's not that I'm telling you anything that you don't already know. It's the digger deep, that deep
That's
dive.
the beauty. That's
Yeah.
the beauty of it.
Mhm.
That's the beauty of it, Delana, is because with the Wellness Purse fitness program, I became successful because I learned how to use my psychology and my knowledge
Mhm.
of fitness and put it
Ooh,
together.
yeah.
And the world wasn't ready for it. And I
Mhm.
love it because when you came to me, yeah, I can do a diet plan and we can work out. But at the
Mhm.
end of the day, you need to know where it's coming from. I need to know how I was on this emotional roller coaster for all of these years that I would lose the weight, gain the weight, lose the weight, gain the weight.
Yep.
We needed to understand a little bit deeper. And then I would go into one of the first lessons during group training is always about which procrastinator are you?
Yes. Come through.
And
Oh my
so
goodness.
I
Yeah.
found out, Delana, that I
Mhm.
was the overdoer procrastinator. So you'll hear me talk
Mhm.
about that a lot because I was the one, just what you said, heart pumping all fast because I'm doing
Mhm.
everything for everybody, but forgetting about the self love and the things that
Yes.
I need to do for myself. So my stuff gets put to the side, but everybody
Mhm.
else is happy building their businesses and children are good and husband's good and friends is good.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, do you know I got the audacity to be upset when nobody's there to help me with my thing?
Yes. Yes.
Because and then
You
God
talking
had
to
to
me
tell me,
now. You talking to me.
he said,
Yeah.
"Well, nobody asked you to do that for this
Mhm.
person and this person. That was you putting your finger in there, being an overdoer because
Mhm.
you trying to take care of everybody else." And I had to dig deep and say, "Well, why am I doing that?"
Right.
Because I didn't feel like anybody took care of me. And so I want to
Mhm.
take care of everybody else. So
Right.
it's so deep. I'm so excited because it
It's
just leads to
so
this
deep.
heart talk about how do
Yeah.
we stay healthy and how do we keep this heart
Mhm.
pumping for as long as we can by digging into self-love and choosing us first without the
Absolutely.
guilt, without
Yeah.
the guilt,
Without the guilt.
without the
Yeah.
guilt.
And that's a huge part because again, I think what happens as women is we oftentimes will equate not necessarily our value and our worth, but maybe I'll say our worth
Okay.
to how busy we are or how
Absolutely.
other people, as I said before, see us.
See us.
And
The
yeah,
perception. We
yeah,
love
the
perception.
perception. We love perception because we want people to say great things about us, right? So
Absolutely.
when someone thinks of Mahisa or when someone thinks of Delano, you want them to think, oh, she's wonderful, she's great, she's helpful, she's giving, she's kind. We want all of these positive things to be
Absolutely.
said about us. And the only way for us to do that is for them to have that experience with us. And
Come
so
on.
we feel like the way to do that is to show up for them, even if they
Absolutely.
don't ask us, right? You just said, even if they don't ask, we will show up. And so
Absolutely.
the detriment comes to us and how you teach about the whole, what procrastinator are you? And when you look at it, I always say to people on the clinical side, you got to get out of that ozone. You got to stop overcommitting, over
Mm,
uh,
come
listen.
on.
Yeah, it's that ozone. You know, we overcommitting, we overscheduling ourselves,
Love it.
we're overdoing it. We all of that. It's the whole over, over, over,
It
over.
is.
And then you find yourself with little time for self, right? And so somewhere in there, there is no self-love. Because if
Yep.
you loved yourself the way that you should, and I'm not talking about self-care and self-love are two different things. But
Absolutely.
if you loved yourself, you would say, you know what, Mahisa, I would
Mm,
love to support what you're doing, but I ain't right now. I'm swamped. I'm overcommitted. I can't do this, but I can show up in this way, right?
mm. Oh, Delane, are you talking about the power of no?
Yeah, say it
Because
loud.
that's
The
the
people in the
power
back.
of no, which
Yes.
is self love.
That one right there, that no, as people say, is a complete sentence, or you can put a T on it and say, not right now,
I
right?
love it.
It's okay. Even if you're not comfortable yet with that, your no
Yes.
voice, just extend it and say, not right now.
Yes.
I can't do it right now. Not
And
right
it's
now. If you don't
okay.
sit there,
It's
it's okay.
okay. And that's boundaries. And
Mhm.
that's what I will be talking about next week on my Mental Mondays on Facebook Live and Instagram Live. Boundaries is a form of self love. And boundaries are not there for other people. They're useful, but they're there for you to
Mhm.
practice
Yep.
self love. And boundaries
Absolutely.
is a whole nother world. And utilizing that power of no and
Is
protecting my peace, Delana. That is my heart talk. That is
it.
my place that I know I'm going to stay healthy if I continue to work towards those things.
Absolutely. And I just put it on the screen. So if you guys see, it says Mental Mondays Facebook Live.
Yes.
Mahisa said this coming Monday, she's
Yes,
going to be talking
5:30.
about boundaries. And it's at
Boundaries.
5:30 Facebook Live. So make sure you tune in if you want more information on that part of it, right? Burnout and boundaries. Burnout and boundaries.
Yes.
Okay. Like,
Yes.
listen, let's figure out how to get there. Like, there's a nice place to be in between burnout
Yes, it
and
is.
boundaries. Like, you have to be able to find your um where you are, find your no, find your
Yes.
comfortability with the no, find your voice and the power in saying no. And
Mm,
and
I love
and
it.
we, Mahisa and I, are giving you permission. Last week I gave you
Yes.
permission to ask for help. This week I'm
Yes.
giving you permission to say no. Okay.
Yes.
Anybody got a problem with that? You can refer them to the Wellness Lounge,
I'm here. I got you. I got you.
the Wellness Lounge, and the Wellness Person. We
Yes.
saying we giving y'all permission to say no. We writing scripts for it. Like, I'm gonna write that prescription pad.
I
They have
love it. I'm
permission to
ready.
say
I'm ready.
no. Okay. So
Yes.
give us an exercise maybe that you work with your clients in trying to identify how to begin that process of creating self-love or boundaries for themselves, or just
Mm,
tuning in. Like, what type of exercise would you have them do? Maybe a brain dump or responsibility kind of
mm.
exercise where you have, because what I've found is,
Uh-huh.
like, just putting a blank sheet up and having people write down all the things that they're responsible for, and it is mind-blowing to them sometimes. So what type of exercise do you have, if there's any, or something that you can think of that you do with your clients to really have
Yes.
them see, I am overcommitting myself?
Yes. I love that you said that, because the first one, you said it off the bat, which is very common, which is brain dump. And
Mhm.
that is like anywhere throughout the day. I always encourage to journal, and
Yeah.
especially at the end of the night. And the reason why I definitely suggest at the end of the night before you go to bed is because I was someone who had to take melatonin all the time because the brain would not stop. The
Mm.
brain would not stop about what was going on tomorrow, what I had to do Friday. Let me check my schedule one more time. Did I miss
Mhm.
something? Oh my gosh, the kid.
Yeah.
It was absolutely, that's where it was, to honest. And I was melatonin every single
Mhm.
night, the gummies, just
Don't
to make
worry, your sister over
I'm,
here was doing it too, and there was a
I'm
little
just
bit of
absolutely.
transition I was going through, and the whole brain wouldn't shut off. So I'm right there with you.
Yes, yes, sometimes it's great stuff, but absolutely. And the other one was, and it sounds so cliche, and I learned this many, many years ago, is to ask myself why 10
Mm,
times.
mm,
So it
yeah.
sounds cliche, but I'm telling you that it works. And I'm actually working on an ebook because it's so simple. I've used
Mhm,
this from the age maybe 10 years ago, and I couldn't even tell you how I started. But what I did was ask myself, why do I feel like I cannot practice self love? And
Mm,
the answer
okay.
would be because I'm a wife. I'm just giving up an example. I'm a
Right.
wife, I'm a family, and a
Hmm.
family woman. I have children and I have stuff to do. And so I would ask, why does the family and the children and the stuff to do get in the way? The next answer would be because I have to make money to be able to provide for the family. I would ask, why do I have to provide
Hmm.
for the family? At
Hmm.
this point, when I did it, it was because I am a single parent.
Right.
Why are you a single parent? Because I made some really bad. So it was
You,
like,
I see what you're doing right there. That's
do
a
you
deep
see,
dive.
do you
That's the
see
deep
it?
dive that we just talked about. The
Ah,
why on top of the why, and then you really get
yes,
to it.
you got
But
to
you're
dig
allowing
deep.
yourself to
You said
see.
it.
Yes, it's digging deep. Because again, we want to just scratch the surface. Because you could have stopped at the first why, or maybe
I
even
sure
the
could
second
have
why.
and been
Right?
been good.
And been good. But when you dig deeper, you see how it went from because I need to do this for my family, because I need to do and I need to make
Yes,
money for my family. And then you dig deeper into okay, because I'm a single mom at
it's
the time. And
key.
then okay, so why am I single mom? Right? Then you're getting down deeper beyond just the
Yes,
superficial. Because you could stop at the superficial. Okay, cool. We know you need to do that for your family. We know you need to
absolutely.
make money. But let's just dig a little deeper into that because it's layers to it. And when we get down in those deeper parts, that's usually where the emotions lie for why we're doing the thing that we're
Ooh, you
doing.
talking about it now. You talking my language. You've been talking it,
Yes,
but you're talking it now.
that's
It's
where it's
so
at.
true. And like I love when you talked about the responsibilities because, if I'm
Mhm.
dealing with like a married couple or like and one of my clients, whether it's a man or a woman, and we're gonna go through this fitness journal and it's connected to mental health, I would
Mhm.
actually, except for writing it down, I would have
Mhm.
them. You're gonna laugh because we can do it. We do it outside,
Uh-huh.
and if we do it in the office, we have to put something down on the floor. We would do it with eggs, and you would have to
Oh,
every
well,
responsibility that you tell me you have. We're gonna put an egg in your hand, and then you
okay.
end up with two, and then
Mhm.
somehow you got stuff falling all over the floor.
Uh,
That is your life.
your life. I like
and,
that.
and you're
I like
still
that
piling it
analogy.
because stuff is falling, but you're still telling me that you got to do this and you got to
Mhm.
do that. And as you're
Yeah.
telling me and I'm placing an egg, I'm writing them down for you so that you can be able to take these and see clearly what you have created with no
Mhm.
boundaries, no peace, and no time for yourself.
See, and again, that's putting it right in front of you
And
as an
you, in front of you.
individual, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's putting it in front of you as an individual because oftentimes, what we do is um, continue to go and we don't
Yes.
stop. We don't do the deep dive. I don't want to see the eggs, so don't give me the eggs, right? These are the things. Don't allow me to see the boundaries. I don't want to know what's going on,
Yes.
what might crash and burn around me. I don't want to see that. I don't
Mm,
want things to not appear right? That I have
mm.
it all together. We started the conversation and talk out by saying we don't want to appear that we don't have it all
Yes,
together. Thank you
absolutely.
so I
Thanks to social media. Thank you
mhm.
for the platforms you built, but also thank you for the misery that you've caused because
Yeah.
of perception.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. All right, Mahisa. So listen, this is the point in the show, in the talk series where I share out of this everybody needs a little TLC, and this is the self-love and self-care, cultivating mind, body, and spirit. So for the
Yes.
last couple of weeks, and then throughout the week, I'll post about these little short little affirmations with
Yes.
information in there. And on day 51, and this book is, I'm a contributing author, and here is available on my website, DelainaWatkins.com. But in here is one that I felt would be appropriate for us tonight. And
All
it's
right.
day 51 out of this 90-day. And it's burnout is real. Challenge yourself to take a break sometimes. We do, go, 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 and push, push, push. Sometimes we push too far and take ourselves beyond our limits. We buy into the Energizer Bunny syndrome, believing we can keep going and going and going and going. But unlike that pink bunny, we don't have an internal battery that allows us to keep going. We get energized and re energized by allowing ourselves the time and space for our body and mind to rest and restore. Come through. The danger in going and going without some type of respite can be overwhelming, and cause emotional, physical, and mental burnout. Either you take a break or your body and your mind will make you.
Mm. Woo.
Affirmation with this is today I will give myself permission to pause, take a break, or even stop. And me and Mahisa said, and say no. We're going to add that on the
And
end.
say no. You have permission.
Yes,
I agree.
to
Yes,
say no. Okay.
absolutely.
So that is it. So any final words for tonight's show? Although this has been simply amazing. You know we could go on
Thank
for
you.
another 30,
Oh,
45
you
minutes.
already know.
So
You already know. I'm just so honored to be here. And for those who are watching, feel free to go on to www.thewellnesspurse.com. For those who are watching, if you want a free 15-minute consultation, you can go ahead and book it right there. I'll be happy to chat with you. And if you don't, I'm just say your power of no. No more are we going to
yes.
live by this. What goes on in my house stays in my house. No more suppressing, no more holding. If you're not
Exactly.
talking to me, if you're not talking to Delana, go find somebody to talk to. Write it
Exactly.
in the book, brain dump. But let me tell you something. You got this. We are not dying with mental health as our priority on the
Not at
top of
all.
our list. We are going to leave a legacy, and it starts with you
Mhm.
being the best version of you in 2022 and taking care of your mind, body, and soul. Thank you.
Absolutely. Listen, I couldn't have said it better myself. I put your website on the screen
Thank
for
you.
our viewers. And again, she said it for those of you that are listening or listening to the replay and the podcast. It is the wellnesspurse.com. You can book a session with Mijiza Green right there live on her site. Now, for as she said, talking about telling your story, getting it out there. I have been saying this. We are looking for contributing authors in our final anthology book, the volume 3, She Is Well.
Yes.
Listen, this one is it.
Yes.
I mean, all of them have just been magnificent. This one is going to be about truth, trauma, and triumph. It is
Mm.
the feminine
Come on
evolution.
now.
Come listen, and the ladies that are already like, oh my God, Lena, the stars have aligned. I am like ready to tell this story about trauma, or to finally write out my truth.
Yes.
And then even those that have overcome in the triumph phase of it, that whole piece of being able to share what it is that you've gone through, what it
Yes.
is that you've experienced, can be so therapeutic for both yourself
Mm.
and the person who may be reading it. And
I
I'm
love
talking
it.
not on a superficial level, but he and I just said to be able to dig deep and really
Yes.
kind of um, go into those places that maybe we've been avoiding, allowing yourself to really be vulnerable. So sheiswellbooks.com for that. And
Yes.
again, Mental Mondays Facebook Live at 5:30 with Mahisa. And her name, when I remove this, will be on the screen. It's Mijiza Green. So make sure you
Yes.
follow her on social media as well. So thank you, my dear. I truly appreciate you.
Thank you.
These 30 minutes have been, I told you they were going to go by
Oh
fast.
my
But
gosh.
we
I
didn't
love
skip
it.
a beat. We did not skip a
We
beat.
did not.
We went right into it and did not stop. So, likely you'll be back for a part 2. I
Cannot
just
wait.
told.
Thank you so much to the
Yeah,
listeners. Thank you for having me. And whenever you want me back, just let her know because I will make it happen. Love you
absolutely.
all.
I
Take care of
appreciate
that
you.
heart.
Yes, take care of that heart, you guys. Listen, and I'll see you again for the final Heart Talk and Self Love series next Wednesday at 7 p.m., where we will have a special guest on who actually, Dr. Nicole, who will be on. She's going to be talking about her experience with actually having to have emergency heart surgery. So that's going to be so amazing to actually
I'll be
have her
listening.
talk about it. Yeah. So that'll wrap up our Heart Talk series. All right. So we'll see you guys next
See you.
Wednesday at 7 p.m.
Good night.